So this new movie comes from the daughter of M. Night Shyamalan. Nepotism strikes again? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're a new subscriber or a new viewer. My name is Kyle. Today we're talking about The Watchers, which is directed by Ishana Shyamalan, the daughter of famous director M. Night Shyamalan. In this movie, a loner with a traumatic past, played by Dakota Fanning, is driving through the Irish countryside and all of a sudden becomes stranded. She gets out of her car and tries to find sanctuary, and she does. However, she finds herself trapped in said sanctuary with 3 other people who are beyond terrified of a mysterious force known as the Watchers. Just before we jump into the review, if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and turn on post notifications so that you do not miss a single video that I upload. Now let's jump into The Watchers. I think this might sound like a record playing, but this is directed by Ishana Shyamalan, who is the daughter of M. Night Shyamalan, who made The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, The Village. Sadly, he also made After Earth and The Last Airbender. He was able to rebound with Split. I personally enjoyed Glass, as well as Knock at the Cabin, but this is a case where we're all looking and saying the same thing. The daughter of a famous director is given the keys to make her first feature film. It is nepotism at its finest. But I was admittedly excited to see this movie. I wanted to know, what was this directorial debut going to be like? When I found out it was going to be a thriller/horror movie, I'm thinking, okay, she's definitely following in her father's footsteps, but how is the movie itself, and how is she as a director? Coming out of this and having a couple days to reflect on it, I found this movie to be just fine. I didn't think it was awful, like some people have said. I think the movie has terrific ideas, but the problem lies a lot in the execution. But I want to give this movie praise because there are things I certainly liked, and the best aspect to me were the performances. I thought the acting across the board was really good. I've always enjoyed Dakota Fanning. It's odd because she's only 30, but then I thought back to War of the Worlds when she was maybe like 9 or 10. She's only a few years older than me, but I certainly really liked her in this film. I think her character has a lot of trauma to her, and as the movie keeps going, we get to learn more about her story, but also the other inhabitants who are trapped. The movie also has Georgina Campbell, who was in the movie Barbarian, which a lot of people loved a bit more than me. I was not as crazy about it, but I definitely liked her performance in that, and I certainly like it in this film as well. I think they play off each other very well. There's another actor, Oliver Finnegan, who plays Daniel. I think he does a really good job, but certainly the actress who played Madeline is great in the movie. Every sequence that she has, she is a scene stealer. This is a very good looking movie. The cinematography is on top form here. I believe he also did the movie Lamb, which showcased a great deal of the countryside. This movie does a very similar thing. All the scenes in the forest look spectacular, and the interiors of the movie also look phenomenal. Without that use of the fisheye lens, I also really like the title, The Watchers. As I was watching it, and after I watched it, I felt like it had a triple meaning, but it has a double meaning in the movie itself, and I appreciated that very much. But where the movie struggles is in its pacing and the overall story as we near the third act of the movie. Now, I'm not going to give any spoilers away for those of you who haven't seen it but want to see it. I still would recommend giving it a watch because maybe some people will find different elements that I just didn't see. However, and this is something that her father does as well in a lot of his movies, so it's a critique of both of them, this movie raises a bunch of questions that I asked in my head and the movie was asking us to think about. They either never answered it properly, or the answer that they gave just raised even more questions that were never answered. And I find this to be a very common thing with movies today, and I think it's a big reason why some of the modern movies that have come out have not aged as well, because the filmmaker or filmmakers are looking at a very specific thing to talk about inside the story. As long as we can focus on the trauma and the negative energy that's going on here, like, that's enough. While it certainly has a great thematic punch to the movie, there are other aspects to the story that Ishana just kind of avoided completely. And she didn't explain certain things that I genuinely felt needed to be explained. Now, to be completely honest, I'm usually a big dummy when it comes to sitting and watching movies. When I'm able to predict two of the biggest twists in the movie, that's a problem. And the weird thing is, they happened within the same scene. And I almost felt like there was a scene that was missing to sort of interlink everything together. I think at the end of the day, we are judging this movie a little harsher than normal because it is from the daughter of a very famous director. But this is a very solid directorial debut, if I'm being completely honest. Ishana has been able to capture a vibe and a consistency that the movie is able to follow without it being overly goofy or overly serious to the point where it's just depressing to sit through. But I do feel like the story and the pacing could have been a lot tighter, and I think a rewrite of the script is all it could have taken, because there are ideas that are set up that are very interesting, and there are ideas that are certainly borrowed from a couple of her dad's movies. I think when I make the statement it leaves a lot to be desired is less about the film itself and more about Ishana. I do feel like she has a voice, and I think she was onto something here, and I think if there was another rewrite of the script, it would have fixed those problems, but I am interested in seeing what she's able to do next, if she is going to direct another movie, because I think she has talent within her, and I think she's worked well with the actors. But The Watchers, it is disappointing in the sense of I wanted a much better story, a tighter pace, just a better structured narrative. But there are elements here that I think are genuinely very good. So I'm kind of split on this movie. It's sort of like a C+ or a B-. I think at the end of the day, because of that story and because of the ending, I'm going to give The Watchers a C+. But it is the kind of C+ that is just veering on a B-. It's like a 79.95. Alrighty guys, if you've seen The Watchers, please let me know what you think down in the comment section below. In the meantime, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. And check out the links to my social media pages in the description box below, as well as my website, kjgpictures.com, also in the description box below. Thank you all so much as always for watching, and stay tuned.